Hey YouTube, this is Music Market Fan 62. Last week I did two videos about the whole Six Flags Cedar Fair merger. So if you want to go see that, go look at it. This is on that, but from another perspective. Now, the thing that is going to cause a very big who knows situation with it is going to be what parks are going to be the favorite child of the chains and what parks are going to be the not so favorite parks. Now, both chains have their favorites and not favorites of the group. So with Six Flags, you have Magic Mountain, sometimes Discovery Kingdom. Over Texas has been starting to get some more stuff. Fiesta Texas is one of the big favorites. Um, Possibly over Georgia, Great Adventure, and then now as far as parks like New England and America and stuff like that is concerned, those are going to be the dark horses of it. Now with Cedar Fair, the favorites typically are Cedar Point, Kings Island, um, Knott's a lot of the time. Um, and a few others. Now, going into this year, Cedar Fair had a thing where it was where one big park and one small park would get something. Is that going to continue? Is the big thing. Because now, I shouldn't say one big park, one small park, but it was more of some of the smaller parks starting to get stuff going forward. And so you still had parks like Michigan's Adventure, who hasn't had a brand new coaster in God knows how long. But the the main issue is going to be going forward. How is this going to affect both companies when it comes to adding stuff? Now, the biggest thing about it is going to be how are they going to determine what parks get what and what parks are going to be considered next. Um, so are they still going to go by the Cedar Fair method? Be like one big park's going to get something, one small park's going to get something? Or is it going to be kind of like, okay, this park's going to get this year, this park's going to get this next year, and so forth? That is something we've yet to see. Now, this is all, first of all this is an assumption everything goes through smoothly. Now, what does this mean for future projects? So, for example, the unknown coaster for the Vortex plot of land in Kings Island. While that area is a decent size area, the main problem with it is you can't really do a whole lot. So it has to be something that either has to be customized or redone. Now, what does this mean for other projects in the chain? So, the supposed stuff like knots and so forth. Now, the problem with knots is going to be that park is 100% used up. So, that's going to have to be internal. Now, the problem with that's going to be how are they going to fit it? So that there's going to be a lot of what ifs in this. Now, what does this do with the projects for Six Flags for next year? So does that mean stuff like the new boomerang at Great Adventure is still going to happen? As of now, possibly, but we will have to see. Because I know with that part, I think its audit is not till early next year. So we have to see. Now, what does this mean for the future? because you're adding more parks into the mix, you're adding more properties in the mix, and so forth. And what does this mean for stuff like Hotel Breakers, Cedar Point, and all of that? Because all of that is unknown too. Because at least with those resorts and stuff, that means they could put the effort into them. But you're going to start adding more stuff into the mix. Now, also, what does this mean for the Schlitterbahn water parks Cedar Fair owns? Are they going to get a rebranded as Schlitterbahn Six Flags Park? Who knows? So, unfortunately, there's a lot more what ifs than answers at this point. Now, other things I can see happening as well is stuff like um, Halloween Haunt at a lot of the um, Cedar Fair parks will get changed to Fright Fest, unfortunately, since people know more about Fright Fest than they do Halloween Haunt. Next, I can see stuff like Winter Fest at Cedar Fair parks get turned into Holiday in the Park. So it's stuff like that. Now, as far as like all year festivals is concerned, stuff I can see about that is maybe a mixture of both companies together. So stuff like during stuff like Halloween, Six Flags had a combination of Boo Fest, which is their children's event, um, Fright Fest, and then Oktoberfest, which is their German inspired one. Unfortunately, I can see stuff like that happening as well, just because of the fact, that's a lot more opportunities. Now, what does this mean for the future regarding rides and attractions? Unfortunately, this is going to mean not as many parks are going to get stuff year to year. This only means a couple. Now, it could possibly mean the parks that don't get stuff maybe find other ways to bring in money, like maybe more things around the park or whatever. Now, what does this mean for parks that maybe don't do Christmas events? Could this mean they bring them back? It's possible, but highly doubtful. Now, this brings up another thing. Um, what does this mean for parks that are in close competition with another? Now, so you're talking about stuff like Six Flags St. Louis and Worlds of Fun. You're talking about like Dorney and Great Adventure. You're talking about Six Flags, Discovery Kingdom, and California's Great America. Stuff like that. Well, unfortunately, as far as that is concerned, I don't quite know what that's going to lead to with that. Um, but it's going to be an interesting thing. Now, is that going to play a key factor down the road? Honestly, who really knows at this point? Because we all just don't know what is going to happen when it comes to that sort of thing. Um, just because, of the fact we just don't know where all that stuff is going to land and do. Um, Now, the next big thing about it is going to be how does this affect competition for non parks that are in those two chains? Because unfortunately, this is you're going to start getting into interesting things because you still have the Hershey parks, you have the SeaWorld parks, you have the Merlin Entertainment parks. Um, so you have those you have to deal with as well. But the ones where I feel like this is going to affect more will probably be the SeaWorld parks because now, while there's not as many SeaWorld parks as there are others, it's still going to be an interesting thing. So I want to hear from you. What do you think? What do you think could possibly happen, and so forth?